A common problem that I have encountered in many grades of teaching is abusive language. This is not appropriate no matter who that child would be speaking to. I do not believe that one could have an effective classroom with abusive language or cursing occurring. I believe this because it's intimidating to everybody involved. It also makes people feel unsafe and at least uncomfortable. It also shows a major lack of respect towards the teacher. And of course, it's disruptive. Who would be able to learn with such poor behavior? Educators and parents would agree that in order to learn, one must feel safe and comfortable. In fact, according to Whitaker, when people become uncomfortable, they change. Therefore, other students could begin to misbehave as well, or students would definitely get unfocused. A nurturing environment is ideal for student growth. I recall the first time this happened in my classroom. I was appalled when a kindergarten student began using racial slurs. I had absolutely no idea what to do. So I hoped that ignoring the behavior would make it go away. But it didn't. Instead, it got worse. And by my ignoring the behavior, it put 23 students in a very uncomfortable place. So I went to my K-tip teacher, who told me to begin data within a time span on this student's abusive language. I began to do that, but the behavior still didn't change. So I began to look into a man named Marzano. He says that students who feel accepted usually feel better about themselves and school. They begin to work harder and they begin to learn more. So I felt the best way to reach this student, of course, was to build a relationship. I spoke to Stevie about things she likes. Her birthday was coming up, she loved sports, and she liked watching TV. So I began to talk to her about all of these things, and we really began to see eye to eye on the playground. At first, I didn't notice a difference at all in my classroom, but I continued to do what my K-tip teacher told me to, which of course was within a 15-minute span to count how many times Stevie would use abusive or disruptive language in my classroom. And I really began to notice a difference. The numbers were really starting to decrease. The more space I would give Stevie, the less I demanded of her, the better student she became. Many more students were feeling comfortable. Attendance got better. There were a lot of pluses to my building a relationship with this child. I learned also the value of building a relationship in my classroom. After 6 years now of teaching, I still do hear some bad words. This is why I'd like to begin research on students that use abusive language. Besides my own experiences, I could research educational journals. I could also send a questionnaire to teachers to see what interventions and results they've had with students who use such abusive language. I'd also like to ask them to rank their own efforts of building relationships. I'd analyze this data to the effectiveness of relationship building and changing students' abusive behavior. Thank you.